Welcome to CrashMagic. Today we have a performance and then also a tutorial of a card trick I really like, but that is so easy to learn. I've always known this one to be called Swindle Switch, and it's by Paul Curry. If that name doesn't immediately ring any bells, Paul Curry is of course the originator of what is generally acknowledged to be one of the greatest card tricks ever, out of this world. So let's get into the performance, and if you want to learn it, I'll show you how immediately after. We have here 10 cards, all diamonds. The ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 of diamonds. Now in a second I'm going to ask you to make some decisions to order these cards, but let me start by giving an example. If we turn over this top card, we know it's the ace, and then we have the 2 and then the 3. But now we're going to switch the order of the next two cards, the 4 and the 5. So we'll switch them like this, and then we'll carry on and deal the next card, which of course is the 6, and then the 7. And now we're going to switch the 8 and 9 as well. Again, I'll do this really openly, like so, and that just leaves us with this card, the 10. If we now spread these cards out onto the table like this, we can see the 5 and the 4 that we switched, and also the 9 and 8 we switched. So now we've got ace, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 7, 9, 8 and 10. So we're going to do exactly the same again. The only difference is this time you are going to decide which cards to switch. And before we start, I'm going to mix up these cards so that they are in a random order that you couldn't possibly know. Now, I find this tends to work best when you don't think too much about when to deal a card or when to switch two cards, but just go with your intuition. Okay, let's do this. So, right from the off, you can choose for me to deal this first card down onto the table, or switch the order of it with the next card. So jump to deal this first card, or switch it with the next one. You want me to immediately switch the order of these first two cards. Okay. And now, deal, and switch the next two. Okay, this really is your choice every time. Okay, deal now, and deal again. What about now? Switch again, and that just leaves us with one card. So I arranged these cards in a totally random order, and you were able to switch the order of any of these cards as we dealt them onto the table, purely based on your intuition. Let's take a look at what sort of mess we have now. Wow, that's incredible. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all in perfect order. So that was the trick, and I hope you enjoyed it. The phrase magician fooler is used quite a lot nowadays. I actually wouldn't say this is a magician fooler simply because this method is so good and so well known, but I would absolutely say it's a non-magician fooler, and I really like how the first half of the trick reinforces what the spectator thinks should happen when you switch two cards. The good news is this trick is totally self-working, and there's no clever card handling needed. And there's also no secret or hidden setup, it's all exactly as you see. So I'm using all the diamonds, but you can use any suits or even a mixture of suits if you like, and I'm using the values ace to 10, but you can also use the jack, queen and king as well if you want. With the cards spread out like this then, we start with the ace here underneath the other cards, and then the cards laid on top with the 10 at this end above all the other cards, so that when we collect the cards together and turn them over, the 10 is on the bottom and the ace is on the top. Now this first part of the trick is all about selling the fact to your spectators that when you switch two cards, they really are switched. So it doesn't matter which cards we switch, but we probably want to do a couple of switches, and the key thing here is that we are going to be dealing the cards face up. So if we start by dealing the ace face up, and then the 2 face up, and then the 3, and then maybe we'll switch these next two, the 4 and the 5. So we want to make this really clear and visible to our spectators that we are switching the order of these two cards, and then turn the two cards face up together and place them down. Then maybe deal another couple of cards one at a time, the 6 and the 7, and then maybe switch the next two cards, so reverse their order, turn them face up and place them down onto the pile, and then deal the final card. Now you can spread the cards and show that just as they would expect, the cards that were switched are now in the opposite order. So ace 2 3, then 5 and 4 reversed, then 6 7 9 and 8 reversed, and then 10. So you then explain that you're going to do the same again, but with a spectator making all the choices about when to switch the cards, and how you're also going to arrange the cards in a random order, and that you don't want them to see the order. Now what you're actually going to do here is put these cards back in the perfect ace 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 order. Now from this position that we're already in, we can do that quite quickly by just changing a couple of cards, like so. But we want it to seem like we're really mixing these cards up into a random order, so it's best, rather than quickly making those couple of changes, instead move the cards around a lot. So we make out, without showing the cards to the spectator, that we're shifting the cards around, putting them in a random order. So we'll move some to one side, move them back again, until eventually we have got them back in that ace 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 order. So once you've done that, you explain that you're going to deal them exactly as you did before, either with or without a switch of the cards, but the spectator is now going to be able to make all the choices. In fact, there is going to be a key difference to what we did before, and that is the key to the trick. So whereas before we dealt the cards into a pile face up, this time we'll be dealing the cards face down. The spectator can freely choose on any card whether to deal it face down on its own or whether to switch it with the next card. So let's say they choose to deal this one face down, then maybe switch the next two cards. So here we've got the 2 of course and the 3. So if the spectator wants to switch these, we'll again switch them, put one under the other, but because we're putting them face down now, that means the 2 goes down first and then the 3, so the order actually isn't switched at all. They can then choose to switch these two cards as well, and all the way through as we deal, every time they can freely say whether they want to deal the 1 card or switch 2 cards, and each time make it really clear that you are switching the cards as you put them down. So to the spectator it seems that from a random order of cards they were able to switch whichever cards they want, and yet of course when you spread them you can show they are now in perfect ace 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 order. So that's the tutorial for the basic version of this trick, but there's loads of great ways you can adapt this one as well. For instance, if you're showing this to a spectator that you know and you know their phone number, you can pick out the cards in the order of their phone number, get them to do the switches or deals however they like, and then show that somehow they've incredibly come up with the cards in the order of their phone number. Well, that is the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you've got any comments, leave them down below, and see you soon.